Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really looking forward to this one because Euro 2020 is right around the corner. It is, I think, 3 or 4 days away from, actually starting at the recording of this video. And in today's video, of course, as you can tell, I am going to be giving you my predictions for Euro 2020. And even though it's taking place in 2021, but it's still called Euro 2020 for some reason, which doesn't really make much sense, but that's besides the point. What also is besides the point is the fact that I'm wearing an Ireland jersey, and of course we didn't qualify. Please don't laugh at me. Thank you for Slovakia for that, by the way. I mean, we were just absolutely horrendous, and we, even if we did qualify, we would have been absolutely horrendous. But yeah, once again, that's besides the point. We're going to get into this now, straight away. So yeah, let's get into predicting Euro 2020 from the group stages all the way up to whoever wins it, of course, in the final. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so we start off with Group A, and first of all, as you can see, I've got Italy in top spot, simply because I think they are the best team in this group in terms of quality. They have a really good system as well, and some good players. You think of their midfield, they have Barella, Jorginho, Verratti, then of course up front they have Immobile, Insigne, Berardi, in defence as well, Bonucci, Chiellini, Donnarumma. They have a lot of quality, Italy. They have a good system as well under Roberto Mancini, and I think Italy will go quite far in this tournament, and I think that they will win the group. Second up, I'm going to go for Turkey, because I think Turkey could actually be a little bit of a dark horse in this one, because I think defence is going to be really important in this European Championships tournament, and I think Turkey have a very good defence. You think it's Çelik at right back, Demiral and Sayuncu centre backs, Kakir in goal, also Burak Yilmaz up front, who's on fire after that really good season winning the league with Lille in France. I think Turkey will be relative dark horses in this tournament, and I think they will finish back up to Italy in Group A. Third place, going to go for Switzerland. They always seem to do relatively well at these tournaments, but I think they got a really aging squad at this moment in time. Their best players like Shaqiri and those kind of guys, they're kind of coming to the end of their careers, and Shaqiri didn't even really play that much last season for Liverpool. I still think they'll come third in the group, though, very comfortably, and Wales, I think, are going to have a horrendous tournament. The whole commotion with Ryan Giggs and all that sort of stuff, I think Wales are not fit for this tournament whatsoever at this moment in time, and I think that is the final standings for Group A and how I think it will obviously finish. And now we move swiftly on to Group B, and first of all, Belgium, I think, will coast through this group. I mean, Lukaku, Hazard, De Bruyne, that's just to name a few players. They have an absolutely unbelievable team, Belgium, especially going forward, and I think that they will, get through this group with, some ease, to be honest. Denmark, I really like. I think they will finish second. Once again, like Turkey, I think they will be dark horses in this tournament. Schmeichel, Christensen, Eriksen, Højbjerg, Poulsen up front. They have got a really good squad, Denmark, and I do think that they will go relatively far, depending on, of course, the luck of the draw they do get. I think Denmark will, of course, as fairly comfortably to Belgium get through this group. Russia, I think, will come third. They did well enough at the World Cup in 2018, but I just think that they won't quite manage to get through Belgium and Denmark in this group, and I do think they will finish third. Possibility, of course, for these third place teams to still go through because of the fact that 4 of the best 6 third place teams do progress to the knockout stages, which we will get onto in a bit. But nevertheless, Finland, I think, will come bottom of the table. Teemu Pukki, can he fire Finland to the knockout stages? No, the simple answer, in my personal opinion. I think Finland are definitely the worst team, probably in this tournament overall, if you're thinking about it in terms of individual quality. So yeah, Belgium, Denmark, Russia, Finland to complete Group B. And now we move on to Group C. Now, first of all, I think there will be a little bit of a shock in this one, because Netherlands, obviously everyone's expecting them to finish there and actually win the group. I think they're going to come second, and there's one reason why, because I think Ukraine, for some reason, I just feel like Ukraine are going to be, once again, like Denmark and Turkey, dark horses to a certain extent in this tournament. They've got a really young squad. You think of Zinchenko, Yaremchuk up front, Saigankov and those kind of players. I just, for some reason, think that Ukraine are going to do relatively well at this tournament, and I think that they will win the group. I'll probably be wrong in saying that, but you never even know. I just have a funny feeling about Ukraine that I can't really explain. And then in terms of third place and fourth place, I think Austria are going to finish third. They have a solid enough squad. David Alaba, Arnautovic, Konrad Leimer, etc. And North Macedonia, unfortunately for them, a really good story that they qualify, but I think they will finish rock bottom of the group, simply for the same reason as Finland, as the fact that they don't have that much quality compared to the other teams in the group. And now we move on to Group D, and first and foremost, England. They're at home in nearly every single game. I think I'm right in saying that they are the only team that actually have fans attending their games, which is going to give them a massive advantage. And even still, they don't really need an advantage in this group, because even though they lost to Croatia in the semi-finals in the World Cup 2018, England have by far the best team on paper in terms of their overall squad. Sancho, Kane, Foden, Grealish, Mount, Rashford, all those players going forward, and even defensively they're not that bad either. I think England should coast through this group, to be perfectly honest with you, and here is when the shock comes. First of all, I'm going to put Czech Republic bottom of the group, no disrespect to them whatsoever. I think that Croatia and Scotland and England, of course, will be able to do better than them in this group stage. Simple as that, really. Between Scotland and Croatia, to be honest, I can really see a shock from Scotland, to be honest, and I can actually see them really, drawing a lot of games and just getting through by the scrapes of their teeth in second place. Croatia, yes, obviously have a lot more quality, don't don't get me wrong, than Scotland in their squad with Modric and those kind of players. But Scotland, there's just something about them. They play with energy. They're really well organised with the 3-5-2 system, or 3-4-3. I think it's one of those ones. A lot of decent players as well, like Robertson and Tierney. But overall, it's because of the fact they're in their first major tournament for so long, and obviously psychologically and physically, that will give them a bit of a boost as well to do well in this tournament. So yeah, England first, Scotland second, Croatia nicking third place, and Czech Republic going home. So yeah, sorry, Czech Republic. But yeah, Group E, I think Spain should, coast through this group, simply because of the fact, if you look at the other countries, Spain have a lot more individual quality than the rest of them. Slovakia, I think, will finish bottom of the table. I mean, no disrespect once again. I'm not being salty because they beat us in the playoff round, but I think Slovakia, from based on what I've seen against Ireland, they're just not great, to be honest. I know they were missing a few players like Dubravka and Skriniar and Hamšík and those kind of players, but Slovakia are no great shakes whatsoever. I think they're going home straight away. And it's between Poland and Sweden for second place. And I was thinking about this because these two teams are kind of similar in terms of the overall quality of players they have. But I just think Lewandowski might be the difference in Poland getting through or finishing third place. And I think that Poland will come second to Spain. And I think Sweden will take that third place as well. Just because I think Lewandowski, trumps what Sweden have, to be honest. We move on to the group of death. The group that everyone is looking forward to watching the games of. First of all, I'm sorry, Hungary. You might, maybe cause an upset. But I just don't see it happening. And neither does anyone else. It could actually happen, because it would be, just typical of that to happen. But you're missing Dominik Szoboszlai, in my opinion, your best player. And yeah, I think Hungary are going straight home and probably will not get any points in this group, unfortunately for them. In terms of who's winning the group and coming second and third, of course, France, they just have an unbelievable squad. Let me just name out a few of their players. Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Griezmann, Pogba, Kante, Varane, Lloris in goal. They're just absolutely... Benzema again is obviously back in the squad. France are just so good. And even if you picked an alternative France squad of players that actually didn't get picked for France this summer, they'd probably still get to at least the semi-finals as well. France have ridiculous depth all over the park. I think they should be, comfortably winners of this group. Portugal and Germany, I'm going to go for Portugal over Germany to finish second because, of course, Portugal, once again, as France, they have a really good team going forward. You think of João Felix, obviously Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Diogo Jota, Pedro Goncalves. Portugal have a really good squad, even Cancelo and, Renato Sanchez and Ruben Diaz and all those kind of players as well. So I think Portugal should finish second fiddle to France, and obviously Germany in Joachim Löw's last, obviously, campaign as Germany manager. I think they might struggle because if you look at Germany, they do have a lot of world-class players. You think of Muller, Werner, Havertz, Gnabry, Sané, Kimmich, Goretzka, a lot of attacking talent, but it's just whether they can fit them all into the one system that actually works for the whole team overall, and I don't think they'll be able to do that more than Portugal and France can, and that's why I think that, Germany will finish third behind Portugal and France. But of course, there still is a possibility of Germany progressing, and to be honest, I think they will progress simply because I think they will beat Hungary and finish with 3 points and finish as the number one team going through as a third place team. And then in terms of the other 3 third place teams, this is going to be a really hard one to call. First of all, I think I'm going to go for Switzerland because Switzerland, as I said, they always tend to do well in these tournaments, and yeah, Croatia I think once again will go through. I think they'll probably beat Czech Republic and maybe get a point off Scotland as well. And Russia, Austria and Sweden, if I'm going to go for my gut, I'm going to go for Russia simply because of the fact if you look at their group, I think they'll take 3 points off Finland. That just leaves them to draw 1 maybe against Denmark, and I think Russia could be okay. But Austria and Sweden I think will just about miss out as the 2 worst third place teams. And now of course we do progress into the knockout stage. This is where it gets really, really tasty. Let's see what the draw is looking like. And straight off the bat, some really, really enticing fixtures here. So we're going to get straight into it with no dilly-dallying. Belgium versus Croatia. I back Belgium. I think Belgium have an unbelievable squad, as I said, and Croatia, even though they have that experience with an obviously massively experienced and quality squad they do have, I think Belgium will have too much for them. Italy and Netherlands, straight off the bat, going to go for Italy. I really do rate Italy to go far in this tournament. I think Netherlands, missing Van Dijk and those kind of players, although they do have a really good squad, I think Italy will be a lot more organised and have a lot more quality than Netherlands going into this tournament. So I do back Italy in that one. France versus Russia, no question. Sorry, Russia, but France are just absolutely immortal in this tournament. They're just unbelievable. Scotland versus Poland. This is where it gets interesting because Scotland, the momentum, as I said, and the fact they're in their first tournament in a long while, as I said as well, could, bring them further than maybe a lot of people expect. Against Poland, Lewandowski doesn't really tend to do well for Poland because he doesn't have that same quality of, providing for him that Bayern Munich have. Do you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Scotland are going to do it. I'm going to say Scotland are getting to the quarterfinals in their first European Championships campaign in God knows how long. I don't know, it was before I was born the last time they were in a major tournament in general. Spain versus Switzerland, going to go for Spain, even though Switzerland, as I keep saying, do well at these tournaments. Spain just have too much quality. And a breakout tournament for Ferran Torres predicted as well, mind you. England versus Portugal, a repeat of Euro 2004 when England lost on penalties, and to be honest with you, England really should be getting through this one with the quality they have. Don't get me wrong, Portugal have a lot of quality as well, but England have a really good squad, and they'll have fans of this one as well. But I think Portugal are going to do it. I think Portugal, there's just something about Portugal in this tournament. I really back Portugal to do well, maybe even win it. And yeah, I think England would be disappointed if they lost that one, but I do think it could be another penalty shootout as well, or losing by the 1 goal England. But I've backed Portugal to go through against England. Ukraine versus Germany, and you know what? As I said, I have a strange feeling about Ukraine. Germany seem to be all over the place in terms of the system and the players they have and trying to fit them all in. I'm going to back a shock here. I'm going to go Ukraine to beat Germany and overtake Germany in the round of 16, and then of course playing them in the quarterfinals, Turkey or Denmark. I am going to back. Oh god, this is actually a really tough one because I think it's two teams that could even get to the semi-finals with the look of the draw that they do look to have with Ukraine. Turkey or Denmark. Do you know what? I'm going to go with my gut. I really do like Denmark, and I really want Denmark to do well. For some reason, I just like Denmark, but I think Turkey are going to be pretty formidable in this tournament, and I think Turkey will get through to the quarterfinals. And as you can see there, the quarterfinals, we have Belgium versus Italy, France versus Scotland, Spain versus Portugal, and Ukraine versus Turkey. So one of Ukraine and Turkey going into the semi-finals. Really interesting that. First of all, Belgium versus Italy. This is another really tough one to call because, as I said, I really back Italy, but Belgium no doubt have the firepower going forward. This is actually a really tough one to call. Do you know what? I'm going to come back to Belgium and Italy because that's such a tough one to call. France and Scotland, I know obviously the miracle will be that Scotland get into the semi-finals beating the mighty France, but it just won't happen. France will get through Scotland. Spain versus Portugal, going to back Portugal because they have a lot better team than Spain in my personal opinion, and are, a better match in this tournament going forward. And Ukraine versus Turkey. This is actually a really tough one, but I'm going to back Ukraine versus Turkey. Who am I going to go for? Because it's two teams I have a really good feeling about in this tournament, I'm not going to lie. Purely based on the quality they have, I'm going to go for Turkey. I think Turkey have just about a better team than Ukraine on paper, so I'm going to think that gets Turkey over the line against Ukraine in the quarterfinals. Belgium versus Italy, I've come back to it and I still haven't decided whatsoever, and I don't know what to do in this one, to be honest. Do you know what? For some reason, I have a really good feeling about Italy in this tournament, as I said, and even though Belgium have a better team, and Belgium will definitely be the favourites, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to say Italy are going to marginally beat Belgium by the odd goal. That's going to set up a semi-final draw of Italy versus France and Portugal versus Turkey. Now, first of all, I think Portugal will overcome Turkey, even though it would be an absolutely unbelievable story for Turkey to get through against that one and get into the final. Italy versus France, this one's a really tough one, but I think purely based on the fact that France have just an unbelievable team, I just can't not bet against France. And the weird thing is, we've set up a Euro 2016 final repeat of France versus Portugal, and of course Portugal did come out on top on that one, courtesy of an Eder goal in extra time. And to be honest, it's a really weird one because I think if it comes down to France versus Portugal in the final, there's this whole thing about avenging the defeat in 2016, and I think France will actually win that one. But in saying that, for some reason, I just don't think France are going to win it, but I don't think that France will lose to any of these teams. It really could be a case of getting, a shock defeat maybe to someone like Italy. To be honest, I'm going to just go with the easy option. I kind of, chickening out with this one a little bit, and I'm going to say France are going to beat Portugal in the final and get revenge from 5 years earlier, but I really do think that Italy could actually, cause a shock and beat France in the semi-finals, and then go on to beat Portugal in the final. But I'm going to stick with what I have. I'm going to go for France overall to win Euro 2020 in the final, avenging their defeat in 2016, 5 years ago, against Portugal. So yeah, France to win the Euros, in my personal opinion. But yeah, that is where we're going to leave this video. That is all my predictions for this Euro 2020 campaign. If you want to, of course, go and leave your predictions down in the comment section below, please make sure to do so. I'm really interested to see how you guys think this tournament will pan out. I'm really looking forward to it now. This summer it's going to be a really good tournament. So yeah, leave a like on this video if you did enjoy. Much appreciated as per usual. Also, if you could subscribe to the channel as well, that is also hugely appreciated by myself. And yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later. So yeah, see ya.